Devil species,
Several species,
unknown misery,
unknown misery,
cryptic.
cryptic. You roll with chicky rappers, now we rebuke them. You roll with picky
Boom! Shake, shake, shake. All right.
Nice.
Training frequency with David Sandler, a man who comes from the depth of Weeder, where everybody in this industry pretty much worked at one point in their career. At least everybody over the age of 30 has been at Weeder, because Weeder's pretty much gone down the tubes anyway right now. But anyway, check it out. Now I'm just playing on. I know you still do stuff with them.
I know.
But I do know how to read circulation numbers. But anyway, so check it out.
Ooh,
That hurts.
that hurts.
That does.
There's a beat right there.
There's a correlation between when I left Weeder and when their circ went down. I mean, I think I was the one keeping.
We got a lot of new cool things coming, baby. It's worth it. It's worth to take another look.
Well, all I know is that they have the right guy in charge, Sean Perrine. That's all I need to know.
Yep.
Sean's a good
Without a
dude.
doubt.
Okay, training frequency. Now, recently, it was funny. My wife came back to training, and she's doing a little segment on this channel called The Road to MILF.
Nice.
Katie Lobeliner's postpartum Road to MILF.
Awesome.
Now, she is like us, except without a penis. She doesn't like full body training. She likes to feel a pump. She likes to lift some weight. Now, when I'm like, she's like, okay, today's back buying this, today's this, today's this. People are like, oh, she should be doing full body training. She's not maximizing her results, and she should be doing this and this and this. And if you train bro split or body part split or the standard old school bodybuilding split, you're not maximizing your gains. And so she's like, I just don't enjoy it. And the fact of the matter is, I did train full body when Haycock had his HST.
Yep.
And I got decent gains, but I absolutely despised not being able to just torch my muscle. And I look empirically, from natural IFPA pros like Doug Miller to IFBB pros like Phil Heath, they're training body parts once a week. Now, armchair scientists out there like, oh, well, full body does this, this, and this, and protein says this. It's the most optimal way to train. And I'm like, well, other than Vince Gironda, who never churned out any Olympia athletes from his facility, I don't see where that plays a role. So, what I'd like to know from you, and I have my opinion. My opinion is, as long as you enjoy it, do it. If you enjoy P90X, do it. If it gets you off your fat ass, train. But in your opinion, is there a more beneficial way to train? Is full body with the full body protein synthesis more efficient than doing body part splits?
Well, I think you got to figure out what you're trying to do. I mean, what you're trying to do, because I've worked with athletes as a strength and conditioning coach.
Well, go over your history. This guy was University of Miami back in their heyday.
University of Miami, a strength and conditioning coach, and when we did that kind of thing, there were some applications where full body was needed. One, it was just based on practice schedule, game schedule, and things like that. So there was a timing issue.
Yeah.
As a power lifter, it was movement oriented. You train for a bench press. You don't train for big chest. It might be something that occurs because of your training.
Yeah.
But you train to push, and you train to pull, or you train to squat. So I think that's one of the things people have to really understand is, what is your real goal? Most of us care about how we look.
Hypertrophy.
And hypertrophy, you got it. And if you care about how you look, you got to focus on those weak areas. Primarily, and then of course all the rest of the areas along with it. And the very best way to do that is still always been by isolating body parts and chunks and working on them. You guys wonder why your calves are lacking, for example. Maybe you're just not training them.
Why are you talking shit?
Oh, no, I know. Okay, I got some big calves, so that's why I'm talking.
I hate my parents.
But truthfully, a lot of people forget. Don't work the things they don't like doing, and those end up being the weak things.
Oh yeah.
And so, from training frequency standpoint, the whole body works great, like you said. Get in the gym, get something done. That's cool, and I applaud that. And but for most folks, if you really want to look better, you want to do it upright. You got to take the time, make it that important part of your life, and break up your workouts. And that means you're gonna have to hit the gym 4 or 5 times a week or 6 times a week to get it done.
Now here's something that I want to go into, and this is something I don't think anybody but Big J Extreme Fitness on YouTube, Big Jason English, he's like a guru, and Big J is very passionate. He's an old school bodybuilder like us about training, the old school chest and tricep, back and bicep, shoulders, the old school bros. They call it bro split now. I call it a body part split.
Yep.
His thing is, okay, well, you're training shoulders. You're also training your triceps, your stabilizers, you're training chest, you're training back, you're training when you hit, one muscle, it's not like your other muscles are just fucking going to sleep. I mean, they have to assist in the movement, or they're antagonists. So theoretically, you are training full body.
You are, yeah. I mean, to some degree, you are, especially if you're using the free weights and if you're doing a squat, you got the whole body in there.
Yes.
Especially if you got any poundage, you can't support all the weight sitting up on your back if you're not, getting your shoulders and your body into it, your chest and
bench press. You have to stabilize with everything.
Yeah, you'd be actually surprised. I mean, big bench pressers will use their legs quite a bit in the actual. We've got some good research to prove that point. So yeah, you're right. I mean, you're going to get your whole body in there. But even so, by isolating body parts, man, you get those body parts done the way you want. Guys, you want big biceps, you got to be doing biceps training.
You can't do.
You're going to get them in the pulls, but not enough.
And I'm sorry, I'm also a mental guy where you got to like it. That's why I'm like, if I'll do full body, okay? I'm cool with it. If you like it, that's good. I want to feel like my shit's going to explode. I want to have a pump. Like I did biceps this morning. They're still pumped.
Pretty good, yeah.
They're still pumped. I want to feel that. And full body training, I come out of the gym and like today, I'm doing Dorian. I'm doing the Dorian one set to failure because I've been doing volume training for a year. Because I believe when you're competing, don't do Dorian because you'll snap your shit right off the bone. Because if you're truly depleted, you're in a very vulnerable position for injuries. Now that I'm fat, I mean, I go, fatter. I go ahead and I could do that shit, right? I could do that whole Dorian thing. Now, when I'm done training Dorian, my body's not as fatigued, my mind's awake, but my muscles fatigued. Okay. When I do full body, I'm fatigued mentally, but my muscles are like, did I even lift?
Yeah, because you can't concentrate on anything enough. You don't concentrate on any one thing, so yeah, you kind of feel like you're exhausted, but you get right back like 10 minutes later. So you might walk out of the gym breathing heavy, and then like 10 minutes later, it's like I didn't do anything.
Well, and that's
a problem.
And I'm going to call some people out here, and that's the problem with you armchair scientists who haven't fucking walked the walk and done what we've done in the trenches and tried everything. Is studies will show that frequency and full body training are optimal for muscle gains. They will.
Yeah.
But when you apply that to real world, there's very few science guys who actually take that and apply it. And when you apply it, Phil Heath is not going to build an Olympia physique training full body 3 times a week.
Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's the truth is, you got to, again, I love the science guys. I've been a scientist. I've done the research. You have to control variables. When you control so many variables, you tend not to get the best of the best in your studies. Yeah. And you want to see the difference between training. You get an athlete, and then you take that athlete and train that athlete, whether it's a bodybuilder athlete or an endurance runner athlete. You get different training adaptations than you do if you take someone who's been sitting on their butt and get them off their butt. And that's where you see a lot of these full body things. It's like I took a sedentary person, I got them exercising. Well, I get a sedentary person to rake my leaves, and they're going to get in shape.
If I'm not incorrect, to go back to studies, and we'll end it on this because we've gone long enough. I could talk all day about this shit.
For sure.
Because I'm passionate about it. But here's the thing. If I recall, the meal frequency study showing 2 times a day being effective as 6 times a day were done on fat chicks. Am I incorrect? I remember that in original studies, and people were quoting them, and I actually read the study. I'm like, it's a bunch of fat bitches. You cut out 2 Twinkies a day, the bitch is going to lose some weight.
Well, that's exactly it. You take anybody, you get them off their butt, they start exercising, they're going to see results. I don't care what you
Or even just measuring calories. You give them Twinkies.
Right.
And they're going to... But when you get to the elite level, I think that, different variables, and this is another video, different things matter, such as micronutrient intake of food, things like that. Food choices. I think you get to a level where those minute details that don't matter in the general populace, when you become an elite athlete, like with my daughter, she's involved in soccer. We're slowly eradicating old junk food out of the house because she asked. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? No, Cammie, you're going to eat that damn Pop-Tart. Put the apple down.
Exactly.
No, she wants to be an athlete. She wants to eat micronutrient-dense, healthy bro foods, or for her, cis foods. By all means, do it. So I think we're in agreement. This is great. Science. That's the thing about these guys, like the old Weeder group, the Stepanis, the Jim Wrights. I'm not really on the science side, but I play one on TV.
Science side.
Is that we're from the old school where Stepani and Sandler over here, they can go, and Dr. Jim Wright as well, who was a genius. I mean, he was crazy as shit, but he's a genius. And we all can read studies, but the thing is, these old school guys, we can apply them because we've seen so much work in the field.
There's always the X factor. I think in every scientist even will say there's that X factor. I don't know why. Well, I want to find out why. And I think some of us really want to find out why, so we do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And you know, and you and I and a lot of these guys, Jim Stopani's not a young guy either. I mean, I feel like we're young, but by the age of some of the viewers and stuff, you know, and think about it, we're still adding muscle mass.
Yeah.
We're still getting leaner. We're getting in shape. You're a pro. I mean, come on. You can't dispute the facts when the facts are sitting right in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, so that's our thing. These are coming from, again, two fossils from the same camp, but again, this is a guy who's literally revered in the science community, and it's really cool. You get all these people quoting science and science. To actually get a scientist like him, or a Stopani, or a Dr. Jim Wright, if he ever comes out of hiding. Where is Dr. Jim?
I have no clue.
I saw him
I haven't
once.
seen him.
I was in Woodland Hills on business. I saw him walking into a cheesecake factory. Yeah. I used to have martini lunches with him. I didn't drink, but you know, he was one of those guys. Like I always say, he's a guy you take to lunch just to hear him talk, because he'd spew off knowledge like nothing else.
Yep.
That's where I got my education. Guys like him, guys like Jim Wright, guys like Stopani, and you can't buy that in school because it's real world application, and that's what we're going to bring you. We like science. Don't get me wrong.
I love science.
But at the end of the day, the X factor plays a role.
I need to explain that X factor, and science doesn't do it, so I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah, and that's the one thing you'll notice about him, Stopani, is those are guys who will try everything, even if it sucks. Even if you think it's going to suck.
There has never been a workout, an exercise, anything I've ever given to anyone, any of my top elite athletes in the world, to anyone that I haven't tried myself.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in it. Same with supplements, same with everything. I take in, I do it myself, then I determine if it's worth it to give it out to somebody.
So, science meets bro science. I appreciate the time, man. It's time to go catch a flight. Because, man, appreciate you guys having me here.
We are so glad to have you.
Hey, it was great. I'll be back soon, and yep, hopefully everything keeps doing what it's doing. And you know, bro science, real world science, when you combine them, it's not a game.
Yeah, we recruit them, we ain't no blind sheep, so we teach for the movement. Look out for one another, look in.